Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the last day of the challenge of SSL here. We're going to have great games to start things off. It's live in the next arena. My name is Valdez. Joining with me is Wolf, once again.
And we are rolling right into this new patch right here, right now, today. It is live on the Korean servers. I've been told that Blizzard Korea has made it impossible to revert back to old patches, and there wasn't enough time, of course, to make a test map with the old versions on it. And so Kespa has officially ruled that we're going to play on the new patch, which kind of excites me, but the players probably aren't too happy about it, I would guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would assume that I don't even, we don't have a PvZ today, do we? We have two PvPs, right? And the TvZ to start things off is going to be ByuL versus INnoVation.
Yeah.
That's probably the best match of the night, but then we got Maxhead at the end of the night. Going up against Parting in that PvP. For some reason, the middle game is escaping me right now.
Me too.
I think it's a PvP, though, from yesterday, if I remember correctly.
But I'm just really thinking right now about what even in these the units that are being patched have kind of phased out of the Korean meta. It's Deer versus SOS, by the way, the second one. But the patch has been known about in Korea for a long time. It's kind of phased out of the meta. This was never really a huge problem in Korea, except with the occasional TvZ mech versus Swarm host type game. But in Europe, this was a really, really big problem, and in North America a little bit as well. Now those two regions are kind of merged together. But now we're seeing that this stuff is kind of being changed. I don't feel like it's going to even, if I didn't tell you the patch didn't come out today, you probably wouldn't even notice what's about to happen. But I just got to put that on the table there. Yeah.
I mean, it came so fast that, I don't even think INnoVation. Maybe I think he's probably the one guy who's going up against Zerg. Maybe he's okay, I'm just going to play mech every single game. I don't think he's had enough time to practice for that even. I don't know if he was expecting the patch to be out on today, you know, and for him to have to play with that patch. So unless he wants to just, spontaneously go for mech every game because he thinks it'll be strong because of the change, I don't think we'll see anything else. INnoVation pretty famous for just straight-up bio play and some early harass and stuff. So.
I mean, that's a really good point that you bring up. He doesn't have much time to practice on the new patch. This is dropping within, less than 24 hours notice, I think. If you want to think about it for, Korean perspective of waking up, say today at, the earliest, probably 8 a.m., you just don't even have 24 hours knows that this patch would even be out, and then you probably wouldn't even expect it to be out on Korea. So, for these matches to happen today for these guys, everyone's, I think, just going to play with what they had planned originally.
Yeah.
And all this patch does really is kind of just nerf a bunch of stuff. So, it's not like it's oh, well, isn't that not fair because suddenly now this race can do this thing? It's the Tempest gets nerfed, the Raven gets nerfed, and the Swarm host gets nerfed. It's kind of like a triangle of these three things getting nerfed. The Viper gets a little bit stronger with its blinding cloud, so that's I think
range
the most
increased by
thing.
1. It's okay, it's very, very small.
It's not like a staple unit that's in every matchup that Zerg plays, or in this case the ZVT matchup that you see all the time. It's not like when Immortals got +1 to range, or when Archons got +1 to range. That's a huge deal. It's okay, well, people are going to make a lot more Archons today. We're going to make a lot more Immortals today, but this is just a blinding cloud, which is one of the spells you see cast the least, next to fungal growth, really, in the current meta.
I would expect it to come out, though, next week in Pro League, Monday and Tuesday. That's going to be very exciting to see some of that new stuff happening. Guys, we have the last 3 matches of the challenge matchups here for SSL. Before we get into that round of 16, this will decide the last 3 players to get in. What you see on screen already are the players that have already made it besides the last 3 matches. So, Leonok, Hurricane, Hero, Su, Sulky Trap, Zestion, Classic have already made it through. Now we're going to have INnoVation versus ByuL for Game 1, and then Deer versus SOS, and then Maxhead versus Parting.
Yep, definitely the first match, the most exciting one. Do not miss it. And Deer versus SOS, I feel like Deer's really going to have to show us something better than what he showed in Code A and what he showed in Pro League recently. Guy is just not looking very good. I mean, qualifying for all these tournaments is a big feat in itself.
Wolf, I'll tell you one thing. I think that's more likely to be a 3-0 than the last match is more likely to be a 3-0.
I agree. I think Maxhead's got a lot of potential to do some damage here to Parting, especially if Parting he pulls a Lucira and does not prepare well for his opponent, because that's what happened yesterday. He unprepared insanely well, and Lucira just simply in his play just did not look like he did.
He got wrecked. He got 0-3. Yeah, he came in here laughing, and he's like, oh yeah, I got this, and then he got smashed. It was
super one-sided.
Really interesting, I'm a Lucira fan myself, but Hyun really impressed me yesterday. That was some awesome games out of him. Like we mentioned before, here are 3 matchups. The first one is the best, so make sure you're telling everybody to get into this stream, watch this game.
Yeah, right now.
It's going to be a blast.
Get out there and tell people right away. And, ByuL recently beat INnoVation in Pro League. I think it was just last week, so keep that in mind.
I think it was the beginning of March, actually.
Oh, actually,
I checked that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a bit while ago now. It was really
but
fresh
it still
in my
happened,
mind, man.
you know.
Yeah.
INnoVation. I think that may have been like one of the first 2 games that he lost. I think it was like 8-1, and then he went to 8-2 here on that loss. So INnoVation just, you know, slowly calming down a bit. He's kind of like the TY of last season, you know, where TY went 7-0, and this time INnoVation went 6-0 in round 1.
Yeah.
And they were the big dogs, the big Terrans that were undefeated, and then they just slowly fell off and, you know, weren't as much of an impact anymore.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely still a big threat, though. Top Terran for sure. I think honestly, I think this guy's better than Dream. And I think he's probably second to Maru, in my opinion. Like,
I would agree with you there. I think those Terran rankings are slowly becoming more apparent. I think INnoVation is number 2 behind Maru, very, very slightly, though. And here you guys can see all of his crazy results going back all the way to 2013.
He was super dominant in 2013. That's when he started to break out after he changed his name from Bogus to INnoVation. He got second in Codes, then won the Season 1 Grand Finals. He won that against SOS, if I'm not mistaken. Then made it to the round of 4. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But notably did fall out in the first round of SSL last season, the Neighbor Star League Challenger. He lost in the round of 32, didn't make it into the regular tournament. So it's a bit surprising.
Yeah.
I can't remember who he lost to off the top of my head, but...
yeah, it's escaping me too again. But I think he's got a better chance here. You know, that one game up against ByuL. Listen, ByuL's a great player. He's actually towards the top of the winners ranking in Pro League. He's doing really well. But this guy is like second best Terran in the world right now, okay? He's going in a best of 5 this time up against the same guy. And I feel like this time he's going to be a lot more prepared. He's going to have everything, you know, ready to go for this matchup.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because if you look at ByuL's stats here in individual leagues, they're pretty weak. The best he's ever gotten was round of 8 in 2013. That was a really long time ago. Pretty impressive for him at that time. Like, he'd never really got anything like that before. He's great at best of 1s. Really, really solid there.
Yeah.
But you put him in this format, this is where INnoVation does. I mean, INnoVation does well in Pro League as well as in individual leagues. He's insanely good at both. Yeah. So
he was the seed from Pro League. Obviously, he was the best player from the round of 1, so an obvious seed there. ByuL, he had to go through the qualifiers. He defeated Flash 2-0 to get through. He also defeated Seed Pigbaby and notably State as well.
Yeah, State took a game, though.
Whoa.
And that's pretty impressive. So.
Didn't even know that. We actually wanted to watch that match, but we ended up watching Hero, I think.
Yeah, sadly, unfortunately. But the name that was escaping me earlier that INnoVation lost to in the round of 32 last season was actually Stats. And I do kind of remember it being a bit of a comeback in that series, where INnoVation like won 2 and then Stats won all 3 in a row back-to-back in order to take it. I can't remember who I was commentating that with, but it was a while back now. But that's one of the things about INnoVation that he does have as a weakness is his predictability. Like, you may just fall to this guy, you know, in the first game or 2, but once you figure out his style, if INnoVation doesn't adapt, he loses. We saw ByuL actually lose 0-3 to Super, and I remember that match really well. Super just prepared. It looked like a lot better for a longer best-of series.
And going into the maps, guys, the vetoes here. Cactus Valley is vetoed out for INnoVation. No surprise there. I think we're going to see a lot of vetoes on that map as we go along here. And then Deadwing banned out for ByuL, just not wanting to play on that big map. I wonder if it's because he might be expecting some sort of mech. He's like, I just don't want to go up against that, you know?
Yeah, well, if that's what we may be running into here, because these vetoes are done literally right here in the studio, so they know what patch this is being played on when they're doing these vetoes. That could definitely be something that comes into play here. Sage on one of our later maps as well, one of our better maps for mech, so that's game 4.
The guys are going into merry-go-round here. This is going to be an interesting one to start off this TVZ. It's the first map between these two all-stars. It's INnoVation versus ByuL. Let's jump into the game right now. Up here in the top right, in the blue, the Terran player, he is INnoVation.
A shot of him as a GSL champion, wearing that pin, well deserved. And his opponent to the top left in red here. Seen a lot of teams in his time now resting on CJ. It's ByuL. His name means star in Korean. And so far this season of Pro League, as well as last season, to be honest, he's made a big name for himself.
Yeah.
Here with Coach Park today. We talked to him a little bit briefly earlier.
It's always fun to talk to Coach Park.
Yeah,
that guy
it
is
is.
very friendly.
Insanely friendly. Very he's not friendly in the sense that he's just friendly in general. He's like very much genuinely interested in everybody and everything that's going on. Are we going to see a 2 barracks proxy? Yeah, we are. Wow. 2 racks proxy. I've not seen this very often. We see it on this map a lot. I mean, like compared to other maps, we see it 0% of the time. Like this is the only map we see it on, I should say.
This one and Overgrowth back in the day, and sometimes Sejong Station. And wow, he's actually doing it. This is good. I mean, we've been seeing this a lot, especially recently, with pro players in best of 5s. You know, over at GSL and over here in the Challenger of SSL. It's like they just want to get the cheese in early to possibly tilt their opponent and to try to just get into their head. And look at this, we have a hatchery and 2 drones made.
Yeah, and let's see, it looks like he's going to go straight in the pool. I think heavens. Thought he was going to go for a gas there for a second.
Yeah, that would have been the greediest of the greedy.
Well, this is a good location. It's outside of the vision of the watchtower. INnoVation is going to scout incorrectly first, though, so he does have that against him here. It's not going to be a game changer, but fortunately for ByuL, he did scout correctly, and so he's going to be able to get an overloaded position. Just cancels his gas right away back at home, and is going to be able to, probably stop that first bunker from going up close to his hatchery. The first one that goes up will probably be, out of range of it if he can help it, because he knows this is coming.
Yeah, he knows for sure. And let's see how good he is at holding it off. He's going to have to pull some drones to deal with this first SCV, because that pool is so late. SCV should probably get to starting that bunker soon enough here. There we go.
Yep. He hid the Overlord, so INnoVation didn't know this was scouted until obviously just now, where he does know about this. This Overlord's very far away from that hatchery, though, and may actually go down, but he is buying a lot of time here. The hatch, because it's so early, will actually have a spine crawler up here.
Ooh, gets us around on that SCV. He's going to force him back at least.
Overlord getting so low, but he's going to lose this SCV. Well, actually somehow does not. That's actually huge that he doesn't lose that SCV. The second SCV still here can actually repair that first SCV. Looks like he just wants a micro back against these Lings.
Bunker not finished, though, and the Lings are out here. 2 more Marines pulled through.
That bunker is so close to finishing. And it will not finish. And now he's got no SCVs out here. Bunker is up at the front. Totally useless. And at this point, INnoVation just has to make a CC at home. You can see that SCV coming down right now is going to be spotted by the Overlord. Just using this bunker as kind of a blocker to, just make sure he doesn't get surrounded very easily.
Oh, unburrowing that spine crawler. But with 2 queens out here, I mean, he's going to be totally safe. Yeah. Especially once that spine crawler gets down.
5 drones on the way. He did lose 2 drones during that for 2 SCVs. And he's just drone up like crazy. The Lings he has on the map now. Just going to make sure, like that spine crawler he moved, that he can't run into the main base, run up that ramp. That's a wall of text right there, man, if I've ever seen one.
He says he... I'm like, are you serious? Well, what he said was with both SSL and GSL on at the same time, he really, really wanted to go to both, but he decided to come to SSL. Thank you to that guy. That was only the first part of that gigantic wall of text.
I thought he was going to flip the sign over and there was going to be like 3 whole printed out pages in size 12 font of like what he thinks about the match. That guy was passionate, man. Yeah. Hashtag passion.
That's a real fan.
That Overlord escaped, by the way, just barely with 27 hit points, so a small little bonus here for ByuL, who gets a great start. This reminds me of Challenger we had last season where Scarlet blindly went like pool first and defended a proxy because I think she was up against Maru, if I'm not mistaken. Another Terran, no, TY.
TY, yeah.
And TY was known for proxying on this map. Terrans are known to proxy on this map more than any other map. And she just, kind of blind countered it and got ahead as a result. And we're kind of seeing a good reaction out of ByuL, but he gets significantly ahead. Just look at the supplies already.
Yeah. And it's not even like he, it's not even like he went for that blind counter you're talking about with the pool first. He just, defended it really, really well. And that offers, big advantage here in the early game. I wonder if the reason why we just don't see that as often nowadays is because Zerg's just got much, much better at it. That's how the meta evolves pretty much. It's like one build is strong, but then eventually the opposite race learns how to hold it off, and it's just not as strong anymore. And they find out some new tactic or new strategy, new composition to go with instead.
Well, it's funny. The Korean region was for the longest time the cheesiest, and that's kind of now been taken over by the Chinese. More on that later. But the Korean mindset ever since Kespa took over ESF. And Kessler became the big force here. There's always been consistency in success rather than taking chances. And in this game, he simply just got unlucky. Not only did he scout incorrectly, but ByuL got the lucky Overlord scout and saw. If ByuL's Overlord was going the other way, he would have no idea, and this would have been a totally different game. So kind of bad luck, but that's what happens when you cheese. Sometimes you get unlucky. So,
I think it was you and Moonglade who were casting one time, but one of you compared it to just trying to like steal a win when it's not like 100% deserved. I mean, it's a decent way to play the game, and of course a win's a win, but it's like you're just trying to steal a game because if it doesn't work, then you do get very far behind. Like in this case,
it's like if you get caught. I think that game was Hurricane versus Byung that you're talking about. It's like if you get caught, you get caught, but. These Hellions, speaking of which, get caught as well. Speeds out pretty quick here. First Hellion. Oh, does he save it?
He's got two more Hellions here. I think he will be okay. He saves one of them.
Yeah, I mismicroed the other one, unfortunately, but ByuL is in such a great spot here, Valdez. He's got double upgrades coming up faster, too. He's got a ton of lings on the map. He's going to continue to control the map with those. And INnoVation.
He's already up to like 60 drones. He's flying free, man. He's playing really well.
Like, INnoVation can't even land at CC because there's a ling there. And to get over and clear that up is going to be pretty tough with all the lings on the map.
That's so annoying. 10 more drones on the way. He's going to go up to what looks like 68. He's going to get 3 super saturated bases. He's going to have his lair coming through in a bit here as well.
Looks like he wants to keep these lings on the high ground, so if the Hellions try to run by, you can actually just grab them and surround them rather than trying to catch them at that CC. Might have been a little bit more difficult to actually grab onto those. So I like this plan a lot. He's just got so much vision on the map. He also controls the watchtower. He has an Overlord to the south. The spot drops. Oops.
We saw it.
We saw that.
Saw it, INnoVation. Sorry.
He was like hoping so hard when he pressed that X key that nobody was watching. I'm so sorry, it's happening, man.
It's funny he puts it on that supply depot right at the wall. Like that could easily be blown up by a Baneling run by a little bit later on. Something we're seeing all the time these days, by the way.
It's becoming a lot more popular. Especially because I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, that the skill discrepancy has gotten so big. Wow, he didn't see that.
He's like literally moving away from it. Okay, he finally sees it. It should be totally fine. But
he needs to keep okay, he's got units on the high ground and the low ground here, because I was going to say that Hatch will get a bit exposed here.
And the +1/+1 just finished for ByuL, whereas it's only coming in now for INnoVation, so that was destined to fail pretty much.
Yeah. Baneling speed is so close to being done that, like, the sky's the limit here for ByuL on what he wants to do, because he's going to be so safe defensively. I'll lose a little Overlord here or there. That's kind of annoying, but with Baneling speed out this early and the ling count that he has, he's not worried about anything right now. He's got his creep spread, not very thick, but pretty far across the map because he hasn't dealt with any pressure yet. He's not really that concerned about it. And oh god, these units need to get picked up right away.
Luckily there's no mutas out because you can't be getting caught like that a little bit later on here. Interesting, he's adding in the Hellbats now. Just a little bit of buffer in the front. Our observer was also pointing out that he was making a bunch of Marauders. So he's really looking to go for that style. We'll hold that thought. He's coming in for a counterattack, but it does get lifted there, the supply depot. And now just looking to catch reinforcements, actually, but he's got to be careful and back off here.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, he's powering up 5 more barracks with the stable economy he feels he has now with this CC. But again, he wants to be on that base. He wants to be on that creep. He needs to be pushing that back. He needs to be stopping this 4th. That's ideally where he should be right now, but he's just not able to get up there because at every turn, ByuL is counterattacking. He's just opened so many fronts with this economy lead that allowed him to build a larger army. The Terran is usually supposed to be the one with the bigger army trying to punish the Zerg who's being greedy. But in this case, ByuL just has so much army that INnoVation can't even move across the map safely.
I don't know if INnoVation is flustered, but his macro's off today. I don't know what's going on. He's getting supply blocked multiple times. I was just staring at the supply being blocked there. He didn't go for a supply drop, and then he finally gets it, but then he's supply blocked again, and he needs to make 4 supply depots, 2 of them which just got canceled there. And at the same time, he's like making 6 racks at the same. It looks like a little bit late there, you know.
Yeah, turrets are late as well. Just way too late.
He just looks a little bit off today, man.
To be honest with you, Valdez, like this is innovation syndrome we're watching, man. He's programmed to play at a certain speed, and his whole build got slowed down by the fact that he did no damage. And so now he's like, wait, you can't have mutas now because I just took my third and I'm out of my barracks now. This isn't supposed to be when you have mutas. Oh wait, I'm behind a few minutes, you know.
Look at all those banelings, man. INnoVation can't attack anytime soon. No. INnoVation got frustrated. He made like so many supply dupes. He's at like 165 of 200 now.
Oh boy. Well, this is just to put this on an Artosis level. This is so many banelings. We're at 65 currently with 6 more on the way to 71. He's going to go up to here. Like
rolling through. A big chunk of that bio is not fighting for a long time.
Off creep, it just doesn't even matter. He has like more banelings than there are Marines, so who cares?
He's just so unbelievably far ahead. And look at this, the banelings coming in on the SCVs, and goodbye third base mining.
Yep, there's all these depots are actually getting in the red as well. He made all those extra depots you were talking about, so I guess he'll be okay for a while, but no bunker at that base either, so that made the attack a little bit easier to hit. Now it's a 4-base Zerg against a 3-base Terran who's struggling to even have army units out. He lost a ton of medevacs. He has how many harvesters? 52? Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. ByuL's totally on top of this game. After holding that off, he was just like, well, I am so far ahead. I can just get ahead in economy. He made up to like 60 drones so early on in the game, and it's really just showing, man. That wasn't even like the most efficient trade that he just did, rolling all those banelings off creep, you know, but it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just simply doesn't. And now he's got another wave set up here. He's going to make a ton more banelings. All the gas he has, literally all of it, he's going to spend it on banelings here. 16 of them is how much he can afford, and I think this push will probably end the game. That was a close call there on that Widowmine. Good turnaround there. INnoVation is being pulled into his main base by these Mutalisks. He only has 1 turret here. And then the Banelings and the Lings can hit the 3rd base while he's busy defending over here.
Yeah, INnoVation knows that he can't really afford the 3-3 right now. But at the same time, ByuL is already making his way towards Hive. And like you said, here's the follow-up here. Pulling that army out of position and now going for the 3rd base. A lot of SCVs going down.
They are even on upgrades now, so he can't be as crazy with this as he was being earlier. And INnoVation does stabilize to a certain extent army-wise. The problem is if he loses another fight, he's not going to have the economy to reproduce, and he's not going to have the economy to hold on to a 3rd. This drop is the first time we've seen INnoVation cross a halfway point on the map. See if he can get some harvesters here. Nope, not really, actually.
And even the Muta's coming back, looking for that medevac, it seems. Finally, that 5th base gets up now for ByuL. It's 5 base to 3. He does need to take that gas, as he does have a big mineral bank, but he may just end the game here. No splits, and a ton of banelings just rolling into absolutely everything. There's a bit of a follow-up here, but
he needs some mutas over here, though. Well, this is the best fight that INnoVation could hope for, to be honest.
And it's a pretty terrible one at that.
Yeah, it just doesn't even matter. I don't even know where his Mutalisks are. Look at all those medevacs that are just waiting to be killed by Mutalisks.
Mutas are on vacation, man.
He's like just here, like, maybe the medevacs will heal all my SCVs and save them. No, they won't. Sorry. Splits the banelings against the Widowmine, too. Here
there
are
the Mutas. Hive is almost complete. Can go to 3-3 very comfortably off of this if he needs to. Yeah. And there are all those juicy medevacs.
There's the GG scans, as Moonglade calls them. I think it's a great way to call it. Dancing the Zerglings. People are getting into people's heads here in Challenger, man. Yeah. And
this is big, man. It's game number 1. Maybe ByuL can crack the code from here. Maybe he broke the computer. GG is called.
I think he did break the computer, man. He broke the program.
In that game, at least, for sure.
Like, no turrets. He had plenty of money. The barracks he was adding there, I felt like they were, like, a little bit late, but, like, not too bad. He was like, okay, now I got my 3rd base up. I'm safe. But the problem is just, like, everything else was off. There was, like, no pressure. Yeah. He couldn't really pressure. He was just behind in every way. And
he was supply capped for nearly 2 minutes of that game. Like, we have the stat up there on our screen.
Average time supply cap 142. Pretty big deal.
Pretty high for one of the best macro Terrans in the world, you know what I'm saying?
Not always by choice either in this case towards the end of the game, because ByuL was just killing his depots all the time. But
we hold our players over here to a very high standard, and
that we do.
Especially with a guy like INnoVation, when we notice something's off, we're like, hey, he's off. Something's wrong today. And maybe it was just that his build didn't work out and he got a little bit flustered. Maybe he can just kind of reset the computer, you know what I mean? Get that program booted back up and go into game 2 and, like, wreck ByuL. It could happen. But ByuL's looking good, too, today. I mean, he held that off with flying colors, got the scout.